Today I'm doing my spark plugs on my 2008 Infiniti M45, and I'm actually recording a video over here. The video will be posting, it will be like a full how-to, but I decided to intercept the video and do this phone thing over here because I wanted to post this on YouTube. The shorter clip would make it to YouTube sooner than the main clip over here, right? So this is what it is. I mentioned while I was doing it on the other side that when you remove your coil packs, you should check your coil packs for oil, because oil on your coil packs would usually be an indicator that you have oil in this seal right here. This is a spark plug tube seal over here, and usually when that seal is leaking, you end up having to replace the entire valve cover, because aka also known as the rocker cover, because this one is plastic, and right now there are no reliable ways to replace that seal. It's molded into the whole valve cover, so you have to replace it. All right, that's great. So when I was doing the project, I tried to gesture it, but I had made a mistake. I had zoomed in to show something with this camera, and I realized that I hadn't focused on it. So, but when I pulled this one is on the right bank 2, the even bank. This is the odd bank. So cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I pulled cylinder number 2 coil pack, I found that it had oil, and I wiped it down, and you can still see a little bit of it on there. It's not too bad, but I noticed it was there. So immediately went down here. I did a little bit of a wipe, and I got whatever was on top. So, however, all the others looked good, and I've already shown that I did this check where I was just running my hands down the rocker cover, and usually the valve cover gasket, the one in between, let's go to this engine over here. So this valve cover gasket, the gasket between the valve cover and the head, usually that one will deteriorate and leak way before the spark plug tube seals. This one's over here start leaking, right? So what I did was, instead of dealing with it over there, well, I was going to do it here. Yeah, let's do it over here. So when I removed, on the other engine that is, when I removed the spark plug tube number 2, I noticed that it had oil, and I was a little concerned about it, what's going on. However, none of the others had any oil on them. So what I did, just set it to the side, and then I checked inside, and I realized, well, as I said, the oil had only gone till around here, and the rest of it was dry. And 2, when I checked over there, the spark plug itself was all the way clean. So I was a little more confident at that point that this seal had not deteriorated on my car, right? So let me just put it back and go back to the other engine to talk about it. This one right here. Whoa, okay. So at that point, I was a little more confident that the seal is just fine. And now here's where things get a little funky. All the other coil packs, all clean. This one here had a little bit of oil, and as you can see, the oil is here, just till here. I wiped it with my hands, and the oil was fresh. Wiped it with a paper towel, and it looked clean. It wasn't dirty oil. And why is that even good news by any means? Because this is something you have to notice. When you do your coil pack removals, pay attention to the positioning. I keep a certain order. The one that's over there is usually the first one I remove. The ones in the middle are the ones that are last to be removed. Regardless of the order, that one there is usually the rearmost. And the one that's farthest outside the car is usually the frontmost. That's the way I do it. If you want, you could label them. You can see in that engine over there, I have like masking tape with numbers. But the whole point is that you have to be pay attention to the position. The number 2 position is important for one reason. This right here. This is your oil filler neck. And usually, I've noticed this a lot. I don't do it. I mean, I pay attention to it. I use a funnel or go real easy. But then I noticed that on the number 2 cylinder coil pack, and as well as the valve cover gasket, usually these are like the first ones to get oil. Because when people pour oil while refilling their engines, sometimes, get a little shaky, or just don't use a funnel, or whatever happens. And usually that clean oil pours over the edge, or sometimes just straight down. Sometimes it gets caught in here. right? And then that fresh oil pours down in there. And that is why the oil that I saw over here was clean. Usually, if you have a leak, you know, you've seen how dirty oil gets. This is, I mean, yeah, that's what typical oil looks like. You know, it's not clean by any means. So usually, if you do have a leak in your spark plug tube seal, you'll get a leak of dirty oil that's already been spent, oil that's already been running through the engine. You don't get clean oil over there. So that's just something I wanted to point out in case you were doing a valve cover or spark plug job or coil pack, whatever it is. If you're working on a VK45DE, including the M56s, by the way, that style engine, and you removed your number 2 coil pack, this one here, and then you found that only this one was drenched with oil, do not immediately jump out and go ahead and replace, you know, don't go all the way out and decide to replace the entire valve cover. Sometimes it is possible that it's got oil from oil fills, you know, oil refills or whatever it is. So it's just a PSA in a way. I just wanted to share that. Maybe that kind of information could apply to other cars, you know. Basically, just pay attention to where the position of the coil pack is. If it's right under your oil filler neck, yeah, maybe you might need to look at it differently. And so what am I going to do about this? One, I already know this one here. I'm going to mark it. I'll mark it on the side, the blank side over here. I'll label these guys, the ones on the right bank. I did not label the other ones because those all went back to the original places. But I'm going to label this. I think I'll just do 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I'm going to move it to the other side. I'll move it to number 4, so that in maybe 5,000, 10,000 miles, at some point, I will come back here and check, because now I've owned this car for a while. Have I made mistakes? Yeah, once or twice I've spilt oil over, but this time I'll pay particular attention to this area. Make sure I do not spill any oil there. And if within 5, 10,000 miles, I still have oil coming up and clean or dirty, then I will know that there is a problem. But as I said, this one right here, though, it could have been there. My car has 190,000 miles. I bought the car with 30, but it might have been 113. I can't remember exactly. But so there was a lot of opportunity for someone else to do stuff like this. And this does happen at dealerships sometimes. When I do my own stuff, as I said, I do make sure if I spill, I come back in and stuff the blue towels in there and pull them out. And usually you don't get anything, you know. As I said, look at mine. It's not that bad, right? Yeah, but this is something that could have happened in the past. I'm not really certain. It's the first time I'm getting to do my spark plug job because I did the math and the numbers just seem to add up okay. So just an FYI, and we'll see. If I'm usually honest with my upkeep and my maintenance, if I came back here and I noticed that there was any problem that needed addressed, then I'll make another video and let you know, hey, we moved this coil pack to the second position, and we noticed that the dry one that we put in the first position started getting oily as well. So here's the one I'm talking about. Dry as a bone, right? Yeah. So everything else seemed fine, and as I said, the spark plug itself was okay. And here's a spark plug. I labeled them. Number 2 came out dry. There was no oil at all on it, right? And usually when you have those issues and it's got a little bit of fuel on the other side. Smelling it. Just seems like 100,000 mile plug. And while we're at it, crazy as it is, someone might be curious to know why I'm collecting my old plugs. I was checking the gap on all of them, and all my 8 plugs, the gap is pretty much, well, all but one, the gap was within factory spec. It's supposed to be 0.043, and I think one here was 0.044, and the one in the back was like 0.045, something like that. But hey, bigger video will be coming up. As I said, it's something I thought about, and I was like, people have to hear about this. This one's going to be pretty important to share. So here I've been recording all my process spark plug replacement, and I hope the video comes out well. Night lighting is always tricky. Like, look at this, and that's why I have like bright light on a tripod over here. It's goofy. We'll see. Hey, that's it. All the best. Catch you guys later. All right.